And we're back. Sorry, part two. My other phone closed. The battery was dead. I am so sorry. We're still doing a recap of Devil May Cry. So please forgive. Instead of doing trailers, we're gonna do 4. You don't mind? I don't mind. What a coincidence. So we finished the video with saying how Enzo was kind of like a good guy. Once again, still tired, but we did have a little bit of energy. So we have about 10 minutes left. We'll be okay. We'll be okay, right, guys? Think about being okay. We're gonna be okay. So we have the Darkon Betrayal. Now, the Darkon Betrayal is so fucking shitty because the Darkon. So the Darkon is led by this guy called the Vice President. Now, I gotta say, I watched the whole thing, and I still don't know what's his goal. So it does feel like he has such an important role, and for the entire thing, the entire thing is you're supposed to believe that he's a good guy. You're supposed to think that he's working for angels and good people, right? But at the very end, I'm gonna give you guys a huge spoiler. You see him with somebody. You see him chilling with somebody, and when he chills with that somebody, you're like, okay, well, who does he serve? So he betrays them. So the first betray that he gets is that the betrayal is the worst that he did is genocide, which is much worse. But yeah, this is so fucked. The Darkon Betrayal, it's so nuts because you're like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened, you know? Like, Darkon in itself feels like, I don't know how to say it, to be honest. It feels like the Darkon is, I want it to be like a good sense. I want it to be like, okay, well, they're not the main guy, but they're helping, right? But then they just feel like plot moving. So when they have the betrayal here, it doesn't really add to the story. Just that they're assholes, right? And that you should be careful with Darkon. So, for example, the betrayal here, what happened is we have one guy who survived the very first scene from the rabbits. And then he's like, okay, well, I survived because he has my children and I have to work for him. So I'm supposed to infiltrate him. But what I didn't like is after that we realized that the vice president knew about the betrayal. So why did he let him? And then he just killed a bunch of, because of him there's a lot of people being killed. And the vice president doesn't care, so that's why I didn't like. I really didn't like that. We see all the bosses. Yeah, so there's a lot of enemy that comes in, and what I do like is that it's bosses from so many games. So we got the bosses from the 5th game, which is the motorcycle boss. We had the bosses from the 4th game, which is the serpent plant. And we had a boss from the 3rd game, which are the twins, which I really like because Devil May Cry is a huge universe. Don't give me more enemies. So, okay, so the only enemy that they added was the rabbits, but they kind of have to because, so they know that people that are going to be watching this are going to be people that play the game. So they have a choice of either we're doing a story that was, a storyline that was already in, or what we're doing is we're doing a new storyline introducing character that already is there, that already exists, which I prefer. Next on the list, we have all the bosses. We have a huge end. So the bosses in itself, they're so cool. But we have the rabbits. And there is a huge end that I didn't get the first time watching because we watched it twice. So the rabbits get shot with a bullet that is anti-demon. And we know it's an anti-demon, right? And it gets shot, it doesn't get hurt. It's like, what the fuck? Now, there is a really clever plot twist. So the really clever plot twist is we had the same bullets shoot Dante, and it didn't work. So you're like, holy shit, is he like Dante? No, it's because he's human. The rabbit is a human, which is completely fucked up. Because then you realize, like, holy shit, I understand what they mean. And you're gonna see what I'm gonna talk about, the rabbit. It's such a cool villain. It's so incredible. So we have the huge int when entity don't work. We got the introduction of Rebellion, which is my favorite weapon from Devil May Cry. A lot of people are gonna say, "Oh, I like Voltage. I like the." I got three weapons that I really enjoy. The Yamato, right? We have the Yamato. We have the what is it? The Red Queen. I love the Red Queen. We just finished playing Devil May Cry. Peak of Combat on mobile, so we're kind of good with the names, right? We have Rebellion. So yeah, perfect. This is already done. Already fucking done. So we're more than halfway there. We got the shapeshifter. Oh yes, so we get the shapeshifter introduction. The shapeshifter is actually really cool because we saw him in the first episode, shifting into a bunny, shifting into the brother of Dante. Now, the shifting into the brother of Dante felt a little bit cheap because. So it's not a moment that I love. I love Virgil. To me, Virgil is fucking amazing. But what I didn't like is because it's not like, okay, so for example, right, in the first game we have Trish is a character that comes in and she looks like Dante's mother, which is why he helps her. It's like, oh, I really like you because you look like my mom. So the rabbit, the shapeshifter changed into his brother, which we later learn is still alive. But it's complicated, so you learn that he's still alive, but he has a constant demon form. So you don't think he's human. You know that he kind of dies from the fire, which is canon from the game. But you're like, okay, well, maybe he gave up on his human form to become a demon. But then he transformed into a human at the very, very end. When I say human, I mean Nephilim. When I talk about human, I talk about the human form, of course. So that's that. It did feel a little bit cheap because I felt like it was a fan service. Like, oh, we want to see Virgil, but it's not Virgil. It's like we'll give you Virgil, or we'll give you a version of Virgil that you're not gonna like, right? So this time when he shapeshift into a normal character, it's nice. I do enjoy that because again, the shapeshifter is capacity. When I see the shapeshifter, I'm always reminded of my first time seeing a shapeshifter, and that was Terminator 3, and that's what I love. It's like, don't give me a main character, give me a character that nobody knows, nobody think about. Oh, maybe he betrays us, super nice. We have the bunny, talking about the Nephilim, right? So we got more of the Dante truth, and what is really cool is he's trying to push Dante, right? And it's like, yo, Dante, you're one of us, and Dante's like, no, I refuse to believe it. Now, in the case of this series, what I really enjoyed was the first time we're hearing about Dante possibly. So I played the game, so I know. But if you didn't play the game, the first time we hear about Dante possibly not being a human is from Lady, and she talks about it like it's a bad thing. Now with Bunny, it's like a good thing, and it always felt like it's stupid. It's so stupid because Bunny wants Dante to choose between the demon and the human world, but Dante doesn't have any link to the human world, so you're asking him to choose something he won't give a shit about, which kind of felt weird, to be honest. But then it's their show, they do what they want. 8% batteries, I have to hurry up. We got the childhood, right? We have the childhood of Dante, how he couldn't save his mother and his mom. They were in a fire. We're seeing they were super strong already. So there's a scene which is really cool, where Dante pushes Virgil fall, pushes Dante. Dante goes all the way from the room. So it's just to show that they were stronger, which I really enjoy, because again, it's a simple thing to do, but it's effective. We have the building. The building is crazy. The building feels like a horror movie. So they go inside this building, right? And they go inside this building. I'm gonna go in and charge the phone because I do not want to have 5 parts. So they go inside the building, and the building is so freaking nice because it's like, okay, we're trapped here. What are we supposed to do? And the thing that I like about the building is just how dire the situation is. The building in itself, the building which is where I'm gonna tell you guys after, but the building is the first and the only like places in the whole show where like, holy shit, there's no hope, right? Now, of course, Dante isn't involved, so that is something That is to think about. I'm trying to charge it. My wire, as you can see, it's not great. So, but content creation over being comfortable. So we had that scene. The fact that the bosses come in, and it does feel, it's such an amazing scene. It's such a hard scene to watch because those guys that you like, you see them, you lose them first of all, but second of all, that's not the worst part. The worst part is because Dante is not there, they get killed. So you're like, okay, well, Dante is not the end all be all. I know it's Devil May Cry. I love Dante, but give me the world of Dante. Don't give me Dante. Give me the world of Dante. So that was a crazy scene. Now, of course, Lady is the only one that survived. Where's the paper? Where's the paper? Okay. I'm trying not to move too much because I don't want the phone to lose a charge. Okay. So we have this. We did the tower, which is nuts. But at least we get more info. I don't remember. I'm tired, guys. I should be going to sleep, but I'm gonna finish this before we go to sleep. Get more info. Yes, we get more info about Dante and his past and what he's supposed to represent. And now there's a couple of really cool scenes, and those scenes I really enjoyed. For example, right, we have this scene where the bunny is talking and he's telling you're one of us, you're a demon. You don't have to serve them, you don't have to be with them, you can be with us. And the scene that I really enjoy is we also have the vice president who's saying, "Yeah, we knew you were fucked up, or you knew you were different, right?" And that's another scene that I love. The scene that I love is the two twins. So the two twins that we know from the third game, they come in, and we got the flame one and the wind one. And the flame one, you can see right away that he's more aggressive. He's a lot more aggressive than the wind one. The wind one's more passive. So then Dante fights them. And the really cool scene is they fuck up Dante. They're fighting him, and he's losing, but they're 2 against 1. And then he's activating the devil trigger, right? Which the rabbit is so cool. So the devil trigger, such a I wouldn't have thought about it myself. The devil trigger is put in, and the whole time you're supposed to believe, they lead you to believe that, okay, well, this is what we need. So okay, so the doctor that I talked about, the doctor was super smart. He says, okay, well, you have a sword, you have the two part of the amulet, right, which is supposed to create the sword of Sparta, which is the truth. In the game it's like that too. So the sword of Sparta is super important, but the two amulets are also important. So he's able to do the sword, right? And then the rabbit's like, he tells the doc, why do you think I cannot do it? And then it's like, oh, you need a transmitter, you need another thing. So we're led to believe that Dante Devil Trigger is what we need, but it's not the case. So the reason why the rabbit is pushing him to become the Devil Trigger so much is because he wants Dante to realize, you're one of us. You're one of us. Now, what is really cool is the rabbit is actually kind of close to Virgil, right? Which is kind of important because that's why he cares about Dante, or he's so motivated to get Dante on his side. Now, what I didn't talk about is on the first scene with the intro of the bunny, he has the necklace of Virgil. So if you play the game, you know that's the necklace of Virgil. So you know that Virgil is implied in the story, which I really enjoy. We got the more info. They push Dante to Devil Trigger, but it's not. Yeah, it's not the key. It's just to realize that it's devil. We get to deny the twin. See, I wrote so. Okay, cool. We get the night that the twin died. So, for example, I should go sleep. I'm sorry, guys. So we get the night where the twin, which is Dante and Virgil, die. What really happened? How so they're pushing him to say, "Oh, Dante, you could have done better. You could have done better. You could have done better." And what is really cool here is Dante actually says, "I was an innocent child. There was nothing I can do." So you get the feeling that Dante really pushed him. He really was hard on himself. And growing up, he was really like, "Okay, well, this is my fault." But then he got to a sense of, this is not my fault. And it's important because it is a character growth. It is a character growth. Dante has a soft heart. He's always willing to he's always willing to help. And when you see that Virgil is completely different. And there's always this question of what if the main character was Virgil? What would have Dante done, you know? And this what they're trying to say here is you couldn't help the you couldn't help your mom or the twin. And the sad part about this is it doesn't really say it in the show, right? They don't really say in the show. So in the show they'll be like, okay, well, Dante, hide here. But in the game, what you realize is uh, the only reason why Dante was saved is because the mom found him first. So the mom, she found him, she put it in the closet. She said, hide here. She went back to get Virgil, and that's why she died. And then Virgil survived, but we don't know that. Um, so the number five, we have the Devil Trigger, right? Which is super, super, super nice because again, you're seeing that for the first time he's able to fly, able to save everybody. But there's also the sense of, and there's a lot of really cool scene. For example, him realizing how much he can do, how often, and it's always a case of he gets cocky, and then the sad part is at the end he doesn't know if he can protect Ansel, and you kind of feel like he was the only one that Dante wanted to protect. Not because Dante's not a hero, but he was like, okay, well, I want to protect Enzo a lot. If I can protect the others, that's cool, but Enzo is priority. Um, if escaping the tower, now the way they do it is so fucking cool. So, oh fuck, I forgot to give you the info about the demon. So basically, Lady, she's in a place where she has to hide. She ends up in a place, and at first, what is weird is the bunny. They trap him in a tower, and it's like, yo, if anybody that's gonna be helping them, is gonna be problem. Is gonna be having a problem. Now, the really cool scene. I love the show so much. This season was really, 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 really good. Um, so she headed into a apartment, and it's really a really good scene, possibly one of the nicest scenes from the series. So they go into an apartment, and you realize that those people are demon, and the first thing that she wants to do is attack them, and they're like, "Yo, we helped you, right? What is your problem?" And it's like all demons are bad. Then we get the reality of the world. So we get the reality where the strongest survive. The air is poison, so a lot of people get sick. A lot of kids get sick. So the demon world is really not good. And this is so freaking important because, like, for example, and I gotta say, Lady is so cool because Lady, she sees that and she believes them. At first, she has a hard time believing them, but then she believes them. It's so cool because this is the problem of Sparta. Sparta was the one to seal of the demon world. So yes, he saved the human race, but he doomed the weaker people. So in the demon world, the strongest survive, and it's really the case of the strongest survive because the air itself is poison. There's also a scene in the very end where Dante goes there and he has problem breathing, which is crazy. But it's a really, really good show. And the fact that we have these and ladies like, yo, understand that you're not all evil, you're not all bad people. I'm gonna help you out. And it's really cool because there's a scene where, so what I'm not saying also is she's kind of poison, so she has this hallucination, right? So she sees them as devil. The thing is, she understands, she hears them, but she sees them as devil, and it's like, oh well, I have to kill you. You're dangerous. And there's a scene where the father's like, oh yo, I helped you, and you put your gun at us, and you really feel in this moment like, lady, she did them dirty, right? But then again, you understand that she's scared, she's poison, so it makes sense. Now, we're gonna have to talk about this a lot. And it's cool because they talk about their real name. I don't remember the real name. I think it's Micah or something like that. What is really, really, really cool is there's a scene between Demo Virgil, which is another version of Virgil, and the girl, the plant with the mandragora, I guess, or the serpent, the serpent plant hybrid, and she goes in, and when they see each other, it's like, oh, for this place. So that's really cool. That's really cool because you get a feeling that they're not bad people. They're just wanting to escape. And the whole plot of the series of the first season felt like, yo, Earth is paradise. Why should we live in hell and you live in paradise? Who decided that? And it doesn't it makes sense. And again, it's very reminiscent of Attack on Titans, the Malaysian in paradise, very reminiscent. But it's such a good plot because you're right. You don't think about it, but there's also a victim from Sparta, and we get that. Um, so we escape the tower. We see the experiments. So the experiment is kind of disgusting because, well, it's complicated. It's really complicated. So the I can't tell you because, okay, well, I can tell you a little bit, but I'll tell you more in the episode number 6. So we're seeing the experiment, and he's experimenting on the kids. Now the reality is experimenting on the kids to make them stronger, to make them a lot stronger. So you're gonna understand why he does it, and it's such a good scene. Um, I'm gonna come back to it after. We got more of Lady childhood, but this time we really get it. So, for example, the father, how crazy he become, and then the experiments where he inject himself with demon blood. So this is where we're going. So basically, episode number 6, we get a spoiler. Rabbit is human. Rabbit is human. So Rabbit was human since day one. The truth is he's injecting himself with demon blood. So the demon blood and himself is kind of cool. So the Rabbit is actually a really, 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 really smart kid who was able to create something where he can inject himself with demon blood and he survive. So he can heal. He's stronger. However, now he becomes dependent on the devil, the devil blood. The father of Lady, right? What she done is she did that. He did that to become stronger. He injected himself with demon blood, but he injected himself with too much demon blood. And that too much demon blood, what happened is he transformed and then he died. Um, so then you realize that the perfect example is Dante. So the perfect example is Dante as to why he was born with it. So when I'm a big fan of anime, which is newsflash, one of my favorite series is Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul is perfect. So there's ton of ghoul trying to become human, or ton of human trying to become ghouls. So the government is like, yo, ghouls are so strong, we don't know how to fight it. We'll take soldier and we'll transform them to ghoul. They'll be half human, half ghoul. It doesn't work. It never works. The only person for whom it worked was Ken Kaneki, because all this complicated. I'm not gonna get into it, but basically speaking, that Dante was born with that blood. It's very, very, very cool. Very cool because he was the perfect hybrid versus a normal hybrid. So the rabbit, what happened is we're seeing this in episode number 6. Um, so I don't know what I should do. I should tell you about number 6, and I should tell you why he's doing the experiments, or the other way around. I think I'm gonna become episode number 6 is my favorite. It's a freaking musical. So the whole time they're not talking, it's music, but you're seeing a scene. There are always two duality. There's always two duality. There's Lady, right? So Lady and how it became the whole backstory, and it's nice because we're seeing so much of the backstory of Lady, um, but then we're also seeing, so this character doesn't have a name. So in the case of Lady, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna tell you the whole story of Lady until they meet. So Lady once again was attacked by a demon. The whole time she was like, "Yo, demon has to die. They all have to die." So because her father, and that's also the game, because her father became a demon himself, she was like, "Fuck demon, I'm gonna kill all of them. They all deserve to die." Um, that's Lady basically. So we're seeing how she was a kid, how she went to an orphanage. She found some friend, and she really trained to become a demon hunter. There's really cute scene, like for example, she goes to a movie and she shoot at the screen because there's a demon. She has a friend who has a demon mask, and she's shooting a Nerf gun, which is something that doesn't hurt. So it's super super cool. And the more she is, and then you see a much older version of her, and that much older version of her, she goes to Darkholm, and that's when she becomes the dark she becomes whatever you want to call it, the demon hunter, if you will. Now we have the other kid. Now the other kid is so fucking important. So the other kid was a normal kid, super normal, and then you always see him reading Alice in Wonderland. Now I want to talk about Alice in Wonderland a little bit. Alice in Wonderland, the importance of it is, technically speaking, Alice in Wonderland is what? It's a girl that had a somewhat of a normal life, and then she fall into a hole, and then she discovered this other world, and then this is the story. Now we have another place, which is the Matrix. The Matrix is like, yo, what if Alice fell into the hole? Do you realize the world she was living in was fake, and the real world was in the hole? Which is insane, right? So in this one, we have the guy, the boy, who has a really shitty life, and he's reading the story of Alice in Wonderland. He's reading the story of Alice in Wonderland, and then he finds a portal, and he doesn't want him to go because he's afraid. But then he remembers, like, okay, well, his life is so shitty. He gets bullied. He gets slapped by the parents, and the foster parents. It's bad. It's bad. So we have this. Then what happened is he goes into the world, and right away he's attacked. The first thing he does is he gets poison, right? And there's a really weird thing that's going on in the show. So in the real world, it's all in black and white. In the demon world, it's in color. Are they trying to tell us something? Are they trying to tell us that the demon world is a real world? I don't know. So he goes in and he gets attacked, and then he runs away, and he runs away. And he is saving a little girl. And the little girl, she's like, yo, I'm going to help you out. And it's so fucking cool. This scene, Lady is cool. The problem with Lady is I knew the backstory from the game, but it also gave multiple time the backstory. So I know what it is. The little guy, I don't know who he is. And I still don't know who he is. So then he goes in, and he's able to see, and it's such a beautiful story because, once again, they're not talking. So you have to look at what they're telling you. You have to analyze the scene. So then he's safe. And the cutest scene is she has other brother. And then it's not precise if they're afraid of human or Mundus wants a human. So Mundus, once again, is the king of the evil world. You guys remember that? You guys remember that? Cool. So I'm just gonna get something to drink. There you go. Sorry about this. Had a couple of drinks, feeling a bit better, but still super tired. So we meet the family of the girl that saved the boy, because again, he doesn't have a name. And the coolest thing is they're seeing human, and there's a reaction from the mom. I don't think the kid knows what's up. I think that she thinks he's gonna make them in danger, or he's gonna get the attention of Mundus. But then there's a little kid that runs to him, and he touches him like he is the weird guy. So then they become close. They have a lot of fun. And it's kind of super nice because it's like a safe haven on hell, which is super rare. Then what ended up happening, and the boy is kind of like the good guy. He is kind of the good guy in itself, right? And he's like, okay, well, this place is really bad because now the army of Mundus and the people that are hurting us. So the problem with hell is that a lot of people cannot defend themselves versus the very few who can really fight. So he creates this machine, which is able to open portals, right? So then the two of them, Lady and the boy, meet when they're much older. So it's I'm forgetting the scene where there's one of his quote unquote adoptive siblings who died from the poison. So he works hard to bring them to Earth. Now the reality is he know her because he's human, right? That's why the anti-bullets didn't work. Anti-demon bullets didn't work. So he creates that, and he brings them. Now, the really cool scene, the really cool thing with episode number 6 was the whole time, lady, the really cool thing with this was the whole time lady was hating on demon, and that hatred for demon ended up killing a lot of the demon. And then what happened is the boy, he saw that and he's like, yo, who did that? And then you see all of his friends get killed because there's a creature that has appeared behind them, but a lot of his friends get killed, and he's kind of the sole survivor. That's when he started to become like a demon himself. He has this machine that injects demon blood in him. So then we have Lady and him that meet, and that's when he started to become like the White Rabbits. Now, the cool thing with that scene is if you follow the story of Alice, this would make Lady Alice, which is good, but who is Dante? Now, that's a question. So we see why is the ultimate goal. Now, the problem with the rabbit is he brought all of those family as a saving. Now he's experimenting on them because he's like, yo, if they come, we need soldier, we need fighter. And that's why he's having those families so they can have kids and he can train soldier with those kids. So that's kind of the whole plot of the show. Episode number 7. Okay, 7. We only have this left. I cannot wait to fit. I love making this video, but I'm tired. We see Virgil. But once again, he is the form, the demon form. Now, why it's super cool is because he gives the blood, and he also gave the amulet, which, in a sense, is nice, but it feels like there's a lack of motivation. Why is he doing that? It's only in episode number 8 or last episode where we see it, and he called Mundus the King Mundus, so he possibly served Mundus. How they get to there? How do they get to the hell world? We don't know. So I got a theory for that. What ended up happening was, he burned. I think Sparta came to save him, and I think Sparta brought him to the demon world, where he would be safe. Which is crazy to think that he would be safer there than in the real human world. I just don't know. Dante, we have a really long talk in between Lady and Dante, but it's super cool. They have a great chemistry. So Lady, I gotta say, out of the whole thing, I wish I could say Dante was my favorite character of the show. But my favorite character is Lady because she has the most character development. At first, she started off as a demon hunt, a hater. Then she gets saved by the demon, and then she kind of changed her mind. Ultimately speaking, meeting the weak demon changed the way she saw Dante, and they become close. So it's a long talk, and the whole time there's a really good relationship where they're enemies, but they kind of help each other, which is really, really, really nice. I really do enjoy that. And the whole talk is them teaming up, right? Which is something that we super important. We got we have the rooftop scene, which is sucks because she's afraid that if Dante goes, Dante will activate the gate because they know it's a gate. So she goes there, she fights, and she really does a good job. For a human, she's really doing good. But then she gets hit, then Dante is there. So we have the scene, and possibly the most fighting we saw. So the couple of scene that we did see fighting was Dante fighting against bosses but not killing them. Or Dante fighting on the highway but not killing. This is really where it starts to happen. Now the rooftop scene is so cool because there is a portal that's open. So Dante goes from in or out of the hell world. And it's super, super nice because you see how bad it is. It goes in and right away he's choked up, cannot breathe. You know? We have the rooftop. The weapon. What? What I don't know what I wrote. Lady. Okay, so I write really badly. So the coolest thing, the coolest scene for me for Dante when he gets rebellion. Lady has a very specific weapon, which is a rocket launcher with a blade. So this is where they introduce it, and it's kind of cool because the whole show they didn't introduce it. The fact that it is there now is super fucking cool. We got the lady weapon. We got the rabbits need. I didn't know. I don't know what I wrote. Oh man. Rabbit needs. Oh, okay. Rabbit needs Dante. And the coolest thing is, there's a scene where Lady is fighting the demon, and then she has a hard time, and Dante goes there, and that's where the scene where the rabbit's like, "Yo, join us, join us. I need your blood, but join us. I don't want us to fight. I want us to be friends." And then Dante's like, "No, fuck you." So then they decide to fight. So because they decide to fight, we have a really cool scene, but almost all the way there, Rabbit didn't have a reason to want Dante dead. So it's kind of crazy because the main bad guy in this case would be Rabbit, but it's not Rabbit, it's Mundus for season 2. The main bad guy was Rabbit, and he possibly knew Virgil at a very young age. That means he possibly knew about Dante at a very young age. He could have killed Dante really early on. So he kept him alive, or he didn't say nothing about Dante's existence. But now it's like, yo, you don't want to be part of us? Fine, I got it, but you're now your enemy. So we have that. It's another cool scene of why they hate Sparta, which is really nice because you're talking about Rabbit that hates Sparta. You're also talking about random demon that really hate him. So you realize, and it's kind of cool because Sparta is said, oh, he played the hero here, but he wasn't a hero. And but I don't think that Sparta give a shit about being a hero. Now we got episode 8. So we have the final fight. It's super nice because Rabbit ends up getting demolished, right? So he goes in, and then he does like the father of Lady. Her real name I think is Mary, but I'm not sure. So he becomes like a full-fledged demon. So there's fighting. The whole thing is about fighting. There's a really heroic moment for Enzo, who ends up getting some time for Dante. Lady also participates. She breaks the device here. Enzo is super cool. He takes a blade and then he tells Dante, "I take a blade for you." This is really cool because it pushes Dante to Devil Trigger. So we have the perfect form, if you will, of the Rabbit versus Devil Trigger, which is the strongest form of Dante. So that's super cool. You got the sad part is you got the vice president betrayal. The vice president who picks up the transmitter and is able to invade hell. Now the actual story, this actual season 1, the ending is anticlimactic. They end up being able to summon a demon that are killing people, but Dante is able to kill the rabbit and is able to destroy the machine. So all of the demons are destroyed in one shot. So it's kinematic because they feel like a cheap win. We had Rabbit who ends up being killed because Dante is too strong. But the most important part is the VP betrayal. So he goes into the demon world. So we don't know what he's doing, but he's excavating. He's really trying to colonize the demon world. You see him pick up some rock, you see some mine. There is a huge reveal here. And I don't know if I should tell you. Should I tell you? Okay. Okay. So it's not said. It isn't said. But I want to show you something. And this is gonna break your fucking brain. It broke mine. You think I'm tired because I worked hard? Or no, it's just emotional as fuck. So I'm gonna do Flip Them When We Cry. I'm gonna be watching season 8, episode 8. Okay, so the important part, the most important guy is this guy.
Hell is real. Demons are real.
So you're not supposed to know who that is. You're not supposed to know, but if you play the game, you know that's Mundus. Now, my problem is the vice president is working with him. My problem is the vice president the whole time. You believe so he's always talking about the divine war between good and evil, but the way he's always talking about the Lord and God and how he was saved and he was saved. So you think that he's a envoy like of heaven, but then he works with Mundus, right? That's a huge reveal as to which Mundus is there, but that's not the biggest reveal. We have imprisoned demon. Also, I forgot about the huge betrayal of the vice president, which fuck you. This is the worst part. I don't know why I forgot about it, but basically oh, let's finish this and we'll become okay. No, I have to do the betrayal first. So the biggest fuck you. I hate the vice presidents. So the demon, okay, and now this is more of a theory than actual fact. I don't know. But then what happened is the demon they saved Lady, and Lady she said, "I understand that some of you guys are victim. We're gonna help you. We're gonna give you shelter." And the vice president's like, "No, fuck, kill them." Now we realize that the reason why he kills them is he wants to push the mentality that the demon are that the human don't like demon and they will kill them. They cannot cohabit. They cannot coexist. Which is huge. Huge. Because if they believe that they can coexist, then there possibly is peace. Now, why does he want war? I don't know. I do not know. And cool. So then at the very end, we have those demons that are left. They're still alive in prison and they're saved by Virgil. But now the biggest reveal isn't that. The biggest reveal isn't the fact that we have Virgil. The biggest reveal is each transformed into a human. So there is a possibility, well, the human form. There's a possibility that he was wearing this devil trigger the whole time. And there you go. Season 1 of Devil May Cry. Let's go sleep. Love you guys. Take it easy. Peace.